I'm a kid at heart. And if they don't like it, then you do something else.
This month, you are going to celebrate 60 years as a recording artist. You're one of the top-selling artists ever.
Johnny Mathis, at 88, has finally broken his silence about the darker chapters of his past, revealing a story as deep and stirring as his iconic hits like Chances Are and Misty. Known globally for his velvet voice and emotive music, Johnny has lived a life filled with highs that the world has sung along to and lows that remained behind the curtains. As a celebrated artist, he has touched many with his music, but not all was as peaceful as his songs suggest. What could be so startling about Johnny Mathis's past that it has taken him so long to speak out? Let's talk about the shocking facts Johnny Mathis has finally decided to reveal, a melody of culinary and musical talent. Johnny was born on September 30th, 1935 in Gilmer, Texas, as the fourth of 7 children. His parents, Clem Mathis and Mildred Boyd, worked as cooks but had a deep love for music, which they passed on to their kids. When Johnny was just 5, his family moved to San Francisco, where they settled on 32nd Avenue in the Richmond district. This new city became the backdrop of Johnny's early musical experiences, shaping the sound that would later make him famous. From an early age, Johnny's father, Clem, a former vaudeville performer, recognized his son's talent. He saved up $25, a considerable amount back then, to buy an old piano. This piano became the center of Johnny's world, where he learned the basics of music. His parents supported him every step of the way, even managing his early fan club to help nurture his passion. Johnny didn't just keep his talent within the walls of his home. He performed at school events, church gatherings, and anywhere else he could share his love for music. By the time he was 13, he caught the attention of a local voice teacher named Connie Cox, who saw his potential and offered to teach him in exchange for doing household chores. Johnny trained with her for 6 years, diving deep into vocal techniques, scales, and even classical music, which set his voice apart from many other singers. But Johnny's journey wasn't only about music. During high school, his friend Merle Saunders, who would later become a well-known keyboardist for the Grateful Dead, invited him to join his band. This was Johnny's first real experience performing with a group, a key moment that pushed him further into the world of music. When Saunders passed away in 2008, Johnny reflected on how grateful he was for those early opportunities to perform and grow as an artist. However, music wasn't the only thing Johnny was good at. He was also an outstanding athlete at George Washington High School in San Francisco. Excelling in high jump, hurdles, and basketball, Johnny's athletic skills earned him a scholarship to San Francisco State College. He even set a high jump record that nearly matched the Olympic record from 1952. His athletic talent ran alongside that of Bill Russell, who would go on to become an NBA legend. But even with his achievements in sports, Johnny's heart always pulled him back to music. But this wasn't the turning point. One Sunday afternoon, Johnny's life took an unexpected twist at a jazz session at the Black Hawk Club in San Francisco. During this casual performance, he caught the attention of a key figure in the music industry. This encounter became a launching pad for Johnny's rise to stardom, marking the start of his professional journey. When Johnny Mathis performed at the Black Hawk Club in San Francisco, his voice caught the attention of Helen Noga, the club's co-founder. Helen saw something special in Johnny and decided to help guide his career. She started by booking him for weekend shows at Andy's 440 Club, where his amazing voice quickly drew in a growing crowd of fans. In September 1955, Helen learned that George Avakian, a top executive from Columbia Records, was nearby. She knew this was Johnny's big chance and was determined to make it happen. Helen kept calling Avakian until he finally agreed to come and listen to Johnny sing. That night, Johnny's performance at the 440 Club was so impressive that Avakian immediately contacted Columbia Records, saying, "Have found phenomenal 19-year-old boy who could go all the way. Send blank contracts." Around this time, Johnny was also excelling as an athlete at San Francisco State College, particularly in high jump. He was even invited to try out for the U.S. Olympic team for the 1956 Melbourne Olympics. But then came a tough decision. Should he focus on his athletic career or follow his passion for music? With encouragement from his father, Johnny chose music, a decision that would change his life forever. But things didn't go smoothly at first. Johnny's debut jazz album didn't sell well, and he struggled to find his footing in the competitive world of music. Still, he stayed in New York City, performing at nightclubs and refusing to give up. It was during this time that Mitch Miller, a vice president and producer at Columbia Records, noticed Johnny's talent. Miller believed Johnny's voice was perfect for soft, romantic songs and introduced him to Ray Conniff, a conductor and arranger. This collaboration would soon define the sound that made Johnny famous. In late 1956, Johnny recorded Wonderful, Wonderful and It's Not For Me to Say. These songs became instant classics and helped launch his career to new heights. His growing fame also caught the eye of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, who featured him singing It's Not For Me to Say in the 1957 film Lizzie. This exposure not only boosted his career but also brought his music to an even wider audience. But that wasn't the best part. In June 1956, Johnny performed on The Ed Sullivan Show, one of the most popular television programs of that time. This appearance skyrocketed his popularity and opened doors for even more opportunities. Later that year, he released Chances Are, his second million-selling single. The song was a huge success, and Johnny's place in the music world was firmly established. In November 1957, Johnny recorded Wild is the Wind for the movie of the same name. The song was nominated for an Academy Award, and Johnny performed it at the Oscars in March 1958. Just a week before his Oscars performance, Johnny released Johnny's Greatest Hits, an album that would set a record by staying on the Billboard Top 200 album charts for an incredible 490 consecutive weeks, almost 9.5 years. This remarkable streak stood until Pink Floyd's The Dark Side of the Moon finally surpassed it 15 years later. Johnny was just getting started, and bigger successes were on the horizon. The Velvet Voice. By 1958, Johnny Mathis was already making big moves in his career, and this year added another milestone. He appeared in his second movie produced by 20th Century Fox, performing the song A Certain Smile, which earned an Academy Award nomination. His success didn't just stop with movies. By the end of the year, Johnny was earning $1 million annually, an incredible feat for any artist at that time. With his smooth, captivating voice, people began calling him the Velvet Voice, a fitting name for someone who could charm audiences so effortlessly. As Johnny's fame grew, so did his wealth. In 1962, Ebony magazine listed him as one of the wealthiest African Americans in the country, estimating his fortune between $30 and $35 million. During this period, Johnny released two major hits, Gina and What Will Mary Say, which climbed the charts, reaching number 6 and number 9, respectively. The early 1960s were a bright time for Johnny, setting him up for a long, successful career. But this wasn't the toughest part of his journey. In October 1964, Johnny's relationship with his manager, Helen Noga, took a serious turn. He decided to end their management contract and filed a lawsuit to make it official. Helen responded with a countersuit, sparking a heated legal battle. By December 1964, the dispute was settled, and Johnny was finally free. This marked a significant turning point, pushing Johnny to take more control over his career decisions. To navigate this new chapter, Johnny started John Math Records in May 1967 to produce his music independently. He also founded Roan Productions in 1964, which managed everything from his concert tours to TV appearances. After splitting from Noga, Johnny teamed up with Ray Haas, who became his new manager and business partner. Ray played an important role in helping Johnny adapt to the fast-changing music scene until his death in 1984. But this wasn't the end of his challenges. The music world was rapidly changing in the 1970s, with the rise of bands like the Beatles and the shift toward rock music. Johnny's smooth, romantic style wasn't as popular as before, and he found himself pushed to the edges of the charts. However, Johnny stayed true to his sound, continuing to record and perform the music he loved, even if it didn't always land at the top. Things took a positive turn in the late 1970s. In 1976, Johnny hit number 1 on the UK charts with his Christmas song, When a Child is Born. Just 2 years later, he struck gold with the duet Too Much, Too Little, Too Late with Denise Williams. This song became a massive hit, reaching number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and topping the charts in several other countries. It even earned gold and silver certifications from music industry associations in the US and UK. But this wasn't the last of Johnny's big wins. The success of the duet with Denise led to another hit, You're All I Need to Get By, which reached number 47 on the Billboard Hot 100. Their partnership continued with the song Without Us, the theme for the popular sitcom Family Ties. Energized by this success, Johnny went on to record more duets with other big names like Dionne Warwick, Natalie Cole, and Gladys Knight, proving his ability to keep up with the evolving music scene. Johnny's talent wasn't just in his voice, but also in his ability to adapt and keep moving forward, no matter what challenges came his way. Even when music trends shifted and the road got tough, Johnny never stopped making music or finding ways to connect with his audience. By taking charge of his career and making smart business moves, he showed that he was more than just a singer. He was also a savvy artist who understood the music industry inside and out. In 1995, Sony Music released a compilation album called Too Much, Too Little, Too Late, featuring many of Johnny Mathis's past collaborations. Earlier, in the 1980s, Johnny had teamed up with Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers of Chic to create the album I Love My Lady. Although the full album wasn't released until 2017, some of its songs appeared in various collections, keeping Johnny's fans connected to his evolving music style. Johnny's smooth voice and charm continued to captivate audiences well into the 2000s. In 2007, he returned to the British charts with The Very Best of Johnny Mathis. He followed this with albums like A Night to Remember in 2008 and The Ultimate Collection in 2011. Even as the music scene changed dramatically, Johnny remained a beloved figure. From 2000 on, he chose to limit his performances to 50 or 60 concerts a year. Despite this lighter schedule, he was still one of the last pop singers to tour with a full orchestra, showing his commitment to delivering a full musical experience to his audience. Throughout his career, Johnny explored different musical styles, always keeping his sound fresh. He developed a strong love for Brazilian music and culture, even recording some songs in Portuguese and diving into genres like samba and bossa nova. In 2011, he released a country album, Let It Be Me, Mathis in Nashville, which earned him a Grammy nomination. Johnny's ability to adapt and evolve helped him achieve something rare, having hit songs in every decade of his career. But not all was easy behind the scenes. By January 2016, Johnny was celebrating his 60th anniversary with a sold-out show, proving his music's lasting appeal. However, throughout his career, he faced personal battles, especially with addiction. During his time performing at New York's Copacabana, doing 5 shows a night took a toll on his voice. To keep going, Johnny sought help from Dr. Max Jacobson, who gave him controversial treatments meant to heal his vocal cords. Unfortunately, these injections contained amphetamines, sparking a dangerous addiction. But this wasn't the worst part. Along with the amphetamines, Johnny also turned to alcohol, especially champagne. His drinking became so severe that at a reception, Nancy Reagan noticed his struggles and stepped in to help. She arranged for him to go to a rehab center run by Jesuit priests in Maryland, giving Johnny the support he needed to confront his addictions. During his 3-week stay, Johnny fully engaged with the recovery process, learning how to manage his addiction and find the strength to move forward. This time in rehab was life-changing for him, allowing Johnny to reconnect with his love for music and refocus on his career. Free from the substances that had once held him back, Johnny returned with renewed energy, ready to continue sharing his gift with the world. His journey through these challenges taught him valuable lessons, shaping the years that followed and helping him remain a beloved voice in music. Johnny found comfort and happiness in hobbies away from the spotlight. Culinary chords. Beyond his legendary music career, Johnny Mathis has developed other passions that bring him joy and balance in his life. One of these is cooking, a love that started early in his childhood in a family that appreciated good food. As Johnny's musical career grew, so did his passion for cooking, which became his personal escape, allowing him to express his creativity away from the stage. Johnny's talent in the kitchen became well known among his friends and family, who were often treated to his delicious meals. Even with a busy schedule full of tours and charity events, he always made time to cook, finding it the perfect way to relax. Another passion Johnny picked up in the late 1960s is golf. He quickly fell in love with the sport, enjoying it not just for fitness, but also for the mental clarity it provided. When not on tour, Johnny often played golf almost every day, making it a regular part of his life. But cooking wasn't just a casual hobby for Johnny. It was something he took seriously. He planned his meals carefully, making sure that even after a long day of performing or a round of golf, he had a tasty meal waiting. His dedication to cooking is evident in his home, where he has a room just for his cookbooks and culinary books from around the world. Johnny often goes through his collection every few years, donating duplicate books to local schools to inspire others to enjoy cooking. Johnny has a special fondness for European cuisine, admiring how it emphasizes fresh, quality ingredients. His trips to Europe are not just vacations. They are opportunities to dive into the local food scene, which often influences his own cooking. During holidays, Johnny's home is filled with the smell of delicious meals, carefully planned and inspired by chefs like Julia Child, with every dish both tasty and beautifully presented. But this wasn't the end of his connection with cooking. When traveling, Johnny prefers staying in places with kitchens, allowing him to prepare his own meals and maintain a healthy diet that supports his active lifestyle. Even when hotels don't have kitchens, he makes sure to choose simple, nutritious meals to keep his energy up for his performances. In November 2015, Johnny faced a major setback when a fire severely damaged his Hollywood Hills home, which he had owned for over 50 years. The fire broke out while Johnny was performing on the East Coast, and by the time he returned, the damage was significant, especially to the indoor pool area. Despite this, Johnny stayed positive, thankful that no one was hurt, and hopeful about restoring his beloved home. But the troubles didn't stop there. In January 2023, severe weather led to a hill collapse near his home, sending debris down the hillside and causing more damage. These events were reminders of how unpredictable life can be, and the resilience needed to overcome such challenges. Despite these personal setbacks, Johnny Mathis's career continues to shine. His deep connection with music and his fans, along with his ability to adapt and thrive over the decades, has cemented his status as one of the all-time greats. His long relationship with Columbia Records, only briefly interrupted by a short time with Mercury Records, highlights his remarkable journey in the industry. Johnny Mathis's incredible career is filled with achievements that show his lasting impact on the music world. One of his standout moments was having 5 albums on the Billboard charts at the same time, something only a few artists like Frank Sinatra, Barry Manilow, and Prince have done. Throughout his career, Johnny released 200 singles, with 71 of them hitting the charts worldwide. This impressive record highlights his wide appeal and ability to connect with audiences through different styles of music. Johnny wasn't just a music star. He also made a big mark on television. He recorded 12 of his own TV specials and appeared as a guest over 300 times on various shows. He was a regular on The Tonight Show, making 54 appearances during Johnny Carson's time as host and even performing on Jay Leno's version in 2007. Johnny's songs have been featured in more than 100 TV shows and movies around the world, showing his broad influence in entertainment. One unforgettable TV moment was in May 1998 when he appeared on A&E Network's Live by Request, which drew the biggest audience in the show's history. Johnny also shared his voice in other ways, singing the theme song for the ABC soap opera Loving, and narrating a 2014 documentary about the undefeated 1951 San Francisco Dons football team. This project was special to him because 2 of the players were his childhood friends. He even appeared in TV and movies, including a role in the season 14 finale of Criminal Minds and in the 2017 film Just Getting Started, showing that his talents go beyond just singing. But this wasn't the end of Johnny's recognition. His contributions to music have earned him many awards. In 2003, he received the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, celebrating his lasting impact on music. His songs like Chances Are, Misty, and It's Not For Me To Say have been added to the Grammy Hall of Fame, proving their timeless appeal. In 2011, he was honored with the Golden Plate Award from the American Academy of Achievement, presented by General Colin Powell, which recognized his lifelong dedication to music. But not all of Johnny's journey was smooth. In the 1980s, during an off-the-record chat, Johnny revealed he was gay. Growing up in San Francisco, he was used to different lifestyles. But this revelation led to a backlash, including death threats, especially from conservative areas in the southern states. Despite these challenges, Johnny kept his focus on his music, finding comfort in his art, and staying true to himself. But the story didn't end there. Throughout his life, Johnny was linked to various celebrities, including fellow artists like Estelle Bennett, Regina Belle, Denise Williams, and Patty Austin. Although he never married, he stayed committed to his career and personal growth. In May 2017, Johnny publicly confirmed his sexuality during an interview with CBS News Sunday Morning, expressing pride and peace with who he is. Johnny's ability to navigate the highs and lows of fame while staying true to himself has made his life a story of resilience and courage. Even as he approaches his 90s, Johnny remains active in music, continuing to inspire fans and other artists. His legacy is not just about his beautiful music, but also about facing personal and professional challenges with honesty and strength, setting an example for future generations. But what does the future hold for Johnny Mathis? Do you think his legacy will continue to evolve? Like, comment, and subscribe to join the discussion and share your thoughts on his remarkable journey.